Hi, I'm Kev Haynes and welcome to another 10-minute guru session. In this particular session, we're going to look at a rather brilliant feature called filters. Okay, filters are a bit like sorts in that they require your information to be laid out in an Excel list. Just a quick reminder what an Excel list is. It's what you're looking at on the screen right now. An Excel list is a spreadsheet laid out in a specific way. It simply has to adhere to 3 rules. First rule, there has to be a header row naming every column in your list. Every row below that must be a record of something unique, and there must be no empty rows, because the moment Excel sees a completely empty row, it believes that's the end of your list. An empty cell is not a problem. That wouldn't cause it a problem, but a completely empty row would. Okay, so this is a list. Okay, now the filter feature works with lists. Now, what are we looking at here? It's government figures on road traffic accidents in Nottinghamshire, and it gives the reference number, the severity, the sex of the person, the type of accident in terms of driver or rider, the date, the time, the year, even the district. Okay, so we can ask lots of questions of this information, and filters allows to look at those answers in some ways and maybe slice them out. When you filter some liquids, you're taking out the solids. You put them through some filter paper, so you're moving the stuff you don't want. When you filter a spreadsheet, you're removing the lines of data or information you don't want to see anymore. Okay, so let's give it a go. Now, the feature is a 2-step process. So let's think of a question. Maybe you want to see all the accidents that happened in the Mansfield district. Okay, so we need to filter this spreadsheet, so we're only looking at Mansfield. Before we can use the feature, we have to turn it on. So let's show you how to turn it on. If you're on the home ribbon, you'll see over on the right the sort and filter feature. If you click on that, the lower half of this list are all filter commands. The upper half are sort, and there is the filter button. Okay, hover over the tip, it tells you what it does. Okay, if I click on that, magically these little drop down buttons appear in the header row. That's why it needs to have a header row, so it knows the columns you're working with. Okay, and you'll see there's one over here as well. These are your filter drop downs. Now, if you need to turn the feature off, you simply go to sort and filter and click the filter button again. You'll notice the buttons in the header row disappear. On, off. Okay. If you turn the filter feature off, any filters you have applied are removed and you're looking at every row of data. Okay, right, so let's turn the feature back on and let's look at our first issue. We wanted to find all the accidents that happened in the Mansfield district. Quite simple, the filter feature's on. We come to here and there's a number of ways you can do this. We'll take the least efficient way first. You can select all, which will untick all the boxes for the different districts, and just tick the one or more, because this is great, you can choose more than one that you want. I actually only want the Mansfield district, so I'll leave that ticked. Then I simply click OK. The whole spreadsheet will flash very quickly, and you'll see here we're only looking at, around this side here, Mansfield. Down the bottom left here, there's a count, and it says 1,110 of 12,904 records found. So out of over 12,000, nearly 13,000 records, over 1,100 are pertaining to the Mansfield district. So we've got rid of all those other records. Okay. Now they're still part of your spreadsheet, and if you were to save the file, you could bring them back at any time, but right now they're not visible. Another thing you should note is that here you'll notice your row numbers that are normally black have gone blue. If ever you see blue row numbers on a spreadsheet, it means there's one or more filters turned on. Now, we can see where the filter is simply by looking across the drop-down list buttons here. If there's any buttons with this symbol, which is the filter funnel, then you know that's a column it's filtered on. If you wanted to clear just that, you could click the drop-down list and you can see clear filter from district. Okay, so if I do that, there are no blue row numbers now. My count has gone there. I've actually got all my rows back. They were never gone anyway. Okay. Right. So let's try that another way. Okay. We'll leave the filter feature on. Notice I didn't turn it off. I just cleared the filter. If I go to drop down list for district again, another way you can do this is to click in the search box and start to type the value you want. Now there's only one district that begins with the letters MANS. So you notice it just shortens the list. All I then do is press OK. I must admit that's my favoured way. I'm not having to untick and tick boxes. I can just type what I want and wait for it to appear. Okay, again, it says 1,110 records out of over 12,900, my blue row numbers. So it's all working just great. Okay, let's leave that filter on and let's actually dive a little further into the data. Maybe we want to see, out of those accidents, how many fell in to the age range of 17 to 24, because that is allegedly when the age range at greatest risk. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we need to take it one step further for that, and we do that through these drop down lists. So if I go to the age one, as well as the tick list, now I could untick everything and tick everything from 17 to 24. Okay, so by doing this and scrolling down, and it's a bit painful. I want all the 17, 18, 19, yeah, etc. But I would never do that. It's a bit too painful. So let's just leave them all selected. There is another way to filter. So you've got the tick list, you've got the search box, and you've got your number filters. Now, number filters, we tend to refer to these as custom filters. They allow you to set your criteria for your filter. Criteria being things like equals, does not equal, greater than, less than, etc. And you'll see Excel provides with a whole load already. You don't have to build them. Top 20, above average, below average, less than, greater than, between. Okay? Or you can actually go and create your own. So we want to create our own. We could use between, but there's a bit of a risk there. Okay, let's go to custom filter. And it brings up this box. And you're simply going to build a sentence. Show rows where age, now we don't want equals, we want is greater than or equal to, and just put the age in there, 17. So if the age is greater than or equal to 17, yeah, and scroll the list, less than or equal to 24. Now by choosing the equal to, it means I'm including the age 17 in the age 24. So this, when I click OK, will only show a row if the age is greater than or equal to 17 and less than or equal to 24. It'll show it. So if I now just click OK, now you see we're down to 241 records. Can you see that down there? All rows. And you'll notice the age ranges, look, are all within the 17 to 24. Now, Microsoft has spotted that quite often when we filter, we usually do a sort straight afterwards. Now, we could do a sort through sort and filter, but we don't need to, because the filter drop down, the first three items are sort items. So we could sort smallest to largest. So although the filter's on, we're now going to organize the rows. So they go from the 17s to the 18s, the 19s, etc., just to make it make more sense. So now we're using two features at the same time, and it's so easy. Okay, now you can see we've got our blue row numbers as well, and you'll see the funnel symbol is on two of the drop down lists. This one here has an arrow alongside it indicating that there's also a sort on that one. This one doesn't have that because we haven't sorted it by that, because we don't need to. Okay, now maybe we want to look even closer. Maybe we want to see whether males or females have the worst accident rates. Well, that's okay. We can just go to the sex column and choose it from the tick list. Click OK, and there we have all the males in the age range 17 to 24 in Mansfield who had an accident, and we can see there were 151. Okay, so we've made a note of that. If you wanted to see how that compares with the females, just click the drop down list under sex again, tick female and untick male, and we only have 90. So there's quite a big difference. There's a third again of males having an accident. All of this simply by choosing these filters. Now I've briefly introduced through the age one these number filters. Okay, start playing with them and explore them. You want something clever with your filters, that's the place to go. If you've got some date ranges, they're called date filters, and they have things like this week, last month, this quarter. Can you see Excel smart enough to know when you're using a different type of data? Okay, if we went to the type, which is a text field, it offers you text filters, equals, not equal, begins with, ends with, contains. These are worth exploring. This is a very powerful part of Excel. It allows you to drill into your information. But remember, once you've done, you don't want to leave the filters on, particularly necessarily, because you may forget they're there. So clear your filters. Now, rather than do them one by one through the drop-down list there, which you've seen me do all already by the clear filter, you just saw me. I moved over here, and in the filter section there's also a clear button. Choosing that will clear all your filters in one go. So you don't have to go column by column clean the filters. No blue row numbers, no filters on. Okay. Try this. It's a great feature. Let me know how you get on with it.